Jeff, that song, This Is Love, just such an incredible picture of what an awesome marriage really is. But knowing you over the years, that really hadn't been your story. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, it hasn't been my story by any means. I come from a divorced family, and though my parents, both of them, remarried wonderful people, and that's been a great experience. Divorce was tough growing up for myself and my sister, and one of the things we were committed, almost convicted about, was we would never get divorced. And sadly, I was divorced, and I not only let myself down, but I let God down.
How did you deal with that? How did you deal with letting God down to the point where you could maybe even come to put yourself back out there again?
I'm a Christian, and I know I'm forgiven, but really the tough thing about one of the toughest things about divorce for me was feeling forgiven. It was such a tough time, and it's still tough, and I still struggle with it. But I think understanding, getting in the Word, and knowing the grace of God, and knowing that He has plans and dreams for me more than I can possibly imagine, bigger than I can possibly imagine, and getting to that point and leaning more and more on Him. And also, I have to do my part and risk and stick my heart out there. But I'm confident that someday I will find that person whom I dream about.
But it's been a process, hasn't it? Didn't happen overnight. It's trusting God and letting Him kind of, it sounds like, walk you through to get to the point where you're ready to maybe put yourself out there again.
Absolutely. It's a process where you feel like you're ready and then you're not. And then you feel like you're ready and then you're not ready. And I still struggle with that, going through that. Sure. But you continue to risk, just like you do in all things in life. I believe that it's a good thing for me to want to be married again, and I just have to continue to trust and believe that will happen.
Jeff, one of the things that I've heard you say is that in writing songs, you just can't force a song, that the best songs have come to you supernaturally. Talk about that for us.
That's true. For many, many years when I lived in Nashville and wrote for a living, I treated songwriting as a job, which it was my job, but I would show up at the publishing office and I would write from 9 to 5 or 10 to 4 songwriters' hours. But and I wrote a lot of, I think, great songs over the years doing that. But at the end of the day, and now when I look back, a lot of those songs, most of those songs, at the end of the day, didn't make a difference, and they weren't supernaturally inspired. And songwriting became anxious to me, and I've got to write a hit. But over the years, I've learned to trust God and to just rest in Him and rest that God is the source of my creativity, and to just be okay with that. And for instance, This Is Love. God gave me that song, and I wrote that song in 10 minutes. But it's real difficult for me to say I wrote that song or me, because I didn't. God gave me that song, and now a lot of the songs that I am the most proud of are those that I've waited and trusted God in giving me. And I think that's very similar to how we, and as single people who want to be married, myself included, need to go about looking for somebody or waiting somebody, and that is to trust God and to not be anxious about it. And we obviously have to stick our hearts out there, and but knowing that God has big dreams for us and plans beyond what we can possibly imagine.
Yeah, that's cool.
And to rest in knowing that.